This podcast episode may contain explicit material. Listener-viewer discretion is advised. The intention is not to offend, but to provide information. Proceed only if you are comfortable with potentially sensitive content.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Behind the Scenes with Sheriff Jason Ard. I'm Jason Ard. We started this podcast to educate everyone on the role of the Livingston Parish Sheriff's Office. We're about serving and protecting our community. On this podcast, we will tackle lots of topics. Hello, everyone. On today's podcast, I'm very happy to have two individuals here with me. Lieutenant Steve Erdey, my Sergeant Cody Jarreau. They actually been here before. We kind of talked a little bit about the illegal narcotics. Both of these guys are brains and operations behind the illegal narcotics and getting them off our streets here in Livingston Parish. Thank you both for being here again. We're going to kind of go into one of these cases that I am truly just very thrilled and happy about because, as you'll see as we walk through this, y'all's hard work has helped us get someone off the street who led to some other people getting them off the street, who I believe without a doubt was a direct effect on helping us battle the fentanyl issue and cutting down on a lot of the overdoses that we've been having in our parish. But before we do that, I kind of want to introduce these guys and tell you a little bit about them. And I'm going to start with Cody Jarreau here. He's my sergeant. And Cody, when did you start the sheriff's office?
May of 2012.
May of 2012. So you came because I became sheriff. That's the only reason you started here, right?
Absolutely.
The same year.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And you started in the jail?
No, sir. As a reserve.
Okay, reserve. For some reason, I thought you was in the jail for a little while.
Reserve?
Is that before? That must have been when you were an inmate.
No, sir.
Just joke here. Everybody calm down. So you was reserved with us for a little while and then moved to uniform patrol full time?
Yes, sir.
And then you was in the criminal patrol?
Yes, sir.
And then you moved into narcotics?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how long you been in narcotics?
Since 2022, October of 22.
Okay, and look, just for the record, I'm asking you questions not for me, because people, well, you don't know your own people. I know who he is. I just want you to know who this guy is. So, Cody, thank you. And Steve Erdey, he's my lieutenant. And, Stephen, you've been here quite some time, and I know that did you serve in the military, Cody? Okay. Well, I know Mr. Erdey did, and thank you for your service. Yes, I appreciate that. And your family for allowing you to do that and support. Because, look, we can't forget our spouses and what they go through as well.
Yes, sir.
So where'd you start at?
2010. Started here on the road, hired in under Willie Graves, but you were in my interview with Willie Graves.
Yeah. I think I was 2010. I was chief deputy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hired in 2010. Deputy on the road, stayed there for a couple of years. You took over, made a rank structure. I made sergeant. Not too long after that, I was sergeant for a couple of years on the road.
I forgot about your sergeant tenure on the road. Okay.
Did that. Went into burglary detectives. While I was a burglary detective.
Must have been doing a good job. Got another promotion, right?
Right. No. So I went from burglary detective, I went into narcotics.
Yes.
From narcotics, came back to burglary as a sergeant. Then from the sergeant in burglary, went to the lieutenant in narcotics.
Okay.
So 15 years later,
yeah,
I'm here.
Well, you've done a great job without a doubt. Look, everybody tells you when you surround yourself with good people, you just you excel, and you've done that. You're a big advocate of telling me, hey, this is who I really like to get in here. This guy, he's a horse. He works hard. He's about it. He knows what he's doing. And, so I'll let you guys, I know all the time, influence me a little bit when it comes to promotions because, look, y'all boots on the ground. You get to see what's going on out there. You get to see it firsthand. A lot of the stuff that I see sometimes is, behind the scene.
Yes, sir.
But look, thank y'all for being here. I want to kind of get right into the topic because it's a lot of information. And we had an individual that was just recently sentenced back in April for illegal narcotics. He's one of our largest drug dealers here, and I think he was. I'm sure y'all would agree with me. And this was a case y'all worked a long time, but his name is Devonte Skinner. Just recently convicted to I don't know how many years, but we'll get to that in a minute, but a lot of years in prison. He's off our streets and led us to some other activity. And we'll get into that. So to back up, Devonte Skinner, he is from we're going to say the Albany Tickfall area of our parish.
Correct.
And then what was his drug of choice?
He was selling a lot of fentanyl.
A lot of fentanyl
and a lot of marijuana.
And I think may have seen maybe some cocaine or something like that, but it was mostly fentanyl and marijuana.
He had some methamphetamine as well.
That's what it was, methamphetamine. And so I want to kind of take y'all behind the scenes of how these cases unfold. And so we're going to walk y'all through this. Both Stephen and Cody was involved in this, and we have some other agents that were involved in it too. So I always want to make sure this is a team effort.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
So Cody, I'm gonna start with you. If you kind of walk us through the startup of this investigation.
So we originally got information that he was selling large amounts of fentanyl and marijuana over there off of the Ed Brown Drake area. At that point, we was able to obtain a CI into the case and start conducting control purchases and hours and hours and hours of surveillance to try to pin down how he moved, his activities, and just so that we knew that whenever it was time to move on him, we had all of our ducks in a row.
You know, and I'm going to give you some kudos. Me and you had this conversation, I don't know if you remember this, about trying to be more patient with our cases, taking our time. And although sometimes we know that this guy's continuing to do something illegal, but it's making a good case at the end of the day and making sure we get them off of our street and not just popping them with a small quantity, treating it kind of like a nuisance when we know this person is absolutely one that has caused a lot of, I believe, deaths in our parish, in our area, probably surrounding areas from these accidental overdoses. Anybody that sells fentanyl, they know what they're doing.
Yes, sir.
And you are absolutely putting something on the street that is going to kill people, and we have seen it. So I don't know if you remember that.
Yes.
But we've had that conversation, and a lot of people don't understand that. But take us through that. Not to cut you off, but
he didn't just come up this day. On this particular one, he did. So prior to this, I mean, I've been dealing with him when I was on the street, probably since 2016.
Wow.
On narcotics related stuff. Now, It wasn't the massive amounts as it was on this one, but I think prior to this, there was an ongoing investigation. Who got in a pursuit with him?
Deputy Lane Ellis.
Got in a pursuit with him. He bailed out. He got away, but he left some electronics behind and some drugs behind. So on top of when this one developed, it just went back and started working that one.
Right.
And it's kind of linked him into that. And ultimately, he was charged, arrested.
It was aggravated flight and resisting an officer.
Yeah.
And then as y'all, so this guy's on your radar. We know he's one of our major drug dealers here. And you continue to work the case of, and what road was it off of?
That would have been Drake Road.
Drake Road. And I think when I was reading over the report stuff, it was something in, like they had 4 mobile home trailers. He was selling a lot out of his home. What I thought was unique was like when y'all were doing surveillance on him, he would walk out of his house to make a sale, but he would make sure his door was locked.
So that was one of the telltale signs on this day. Like he would walk out, 20, 30 feet?
Right off of his porch into his
sell
driveway.
out of the front yard, but lock his door behind him, the deadbolt, go out, sell, wait a minute, then come back in, unlock it.
We would call that a clue in our line of work.
Yes.
That something's not right.
Yes.
And so, and then I know that so as y'all are doing your investigation, as you're getting your surveillance done, gathering your information, Tangible Parish kind of comes into play a little bit here, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, on this day we decided to do this, they called and said, look, and this is a networking thing, so they already knew we were working the case on him. So they called, hey, we don't want to mess your case up, but he is possibly a witness or involved in a homicide that we're investigating, and we need to question him. So they had an active warrant on him, and I think we're in the process of getting a warrant for the pursuit from 2021, which we linked.
He actually had the warrant. I believe it was placed on hold due to our investigation. We just kind of put it on the back burner until we needed it.
So we got with them and they're like, hey, we need to talk to him like yesterday.
Right.
So we just set up on it, and as we started watching it, he was rocking and rolling in and out the trailer doing deals right in the front yard.
And so that leads you to being able to get some probable cause to be able to, eventually y'all did a traffic stop on him, right?
Yes, sir. So as soon as he left that day, of course, the parish line is right there. So Lieutenant Erdey and myself, we followed him into Tangipahoa Parish, where Tangipahoa deputies initiated a traffic stop with him. And at that time, he was found in possession of, I believe, marijuana and some promethazine, codeine, just a couple little things.
And so then that leads to a search warrant at his residence.
Everybody goes back to the house, secures everybody in the yard and the house, and type the search warrant right there.
And it's amazing because there's a lot of illegal narcotics came out of the house.
Yes.
And what was the quantity here? I know it was a large quantity of fentanyl that y'all was able to get off of them. Y'all remember what the quantity was?
I believe in total with the fentanyl powder that was cut half, it was like half kilos. It was 2 of those and a bunch of the pressed fentanyl pills. In total, it was over 4 pounds, I believe.
Golly, that's a lot. And then he had marijuana, he had fentanyl pills, and he had some methamphetamine, paraphernalia, all kind of stuff. And so after the search warrant, a lot of people don't understand. I want to make sure they do understand this. Some probably do, but so you all this intelligent, all the gathering of the intelligence that y'all did here, you put a great case together, and then it goes to court. And through this process, tell me how we identified the next person of interest for the sheriff's office when it comes to illegal narcotics, another drug dealer that we just recently arrested.
So like you say, you put them in jail. They have to have a bond, so they get a bond. So in this case, he bonded out.
Right.
So he bonded out. Cody and them, we had numerous complaints of another individual as he was in jail waiting to bond as another individual selling fentanyl in the Albany area.
And we began watching him like hours and hours and hours of surveillance again. And once Devonte bonded out, we knew they commingled, but we actually seen Devonte going to this other target's residence and purchasing large quantities of pressed fentanyl pills.
So I'm gonna try to control myself here, but I know it's got to be aggravating because I've been there. I've been in your shoes where you make this case, you spend all this time, all this effort, you put this guy in jail, he bonds out, he's selling again.
Yes, sir.
Within weeks.
From the same place.
Yes, sir.
And I know that this is where sometimes as citizens, they don't quite understand it because they just put him in jail. He's out already. He's doing, but it's a process. They have a right to bond out. They have a right to make bond, and they have the right to go before a judge. I mean, that's why that system is set up to be able to, you're innocent until proven guilty. But it takes patience on your part in law enforcement to be able to continue to work that case, showing your patience throughout the case, right?
Yes, sir.
And so here we are. He's back on the street. Now we know what he's doing because not only you had that clue early on, but now you have proven it, right?
Yes.
Meets this person of interest that you already kind of know about, but here we go with this guy.
Yes, sir.
And so we're not going to mention his name at the moment. Well, I think we can mention his name because we've already arrested him. But this leads to what we had talked about on our last episode when y'all were with me, of the case where we had over 130,000 doses of fentanyl.
Yes, sir.
That case. So
this starts the case on Tyrone Broadway.
Yes. So Tyrone Broadway is just recently been arrested, right? And so one of the things that I find unique, and I listened to one of our prosecutors, Kurt Wall, kind of tell the story a little bit. And I hope you don't mind me sharing some. I'm going to share it anyway. But he's the prosecutor, right? He's the assistant district attorney on this case. Is he helping prosecute?
Yes.
And our judge is Judge Foster.
Just Foster.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And so as they're going through the trial with Devonte, this other subject is in the courtroom.
Yes, sir.
That's correct.
And now, as he's going through the courtroom, the sheriff's office, as well as the district attorney's office, we know this guy is continuing to sell drugs while he is on trial.
Correct.
And his new buddy,
Tyrone.
is in the courtroom watching all this go down. So a year later after this case, in April, he gets convicted. And I think we have. You said you looked this morning. You actually looked at the minutes. What was it? What did it say?
I think it was 3 counts. Count 1 was methamphetamine, was 30 years.
30 years.
Count 2 was fentanyl, 70, and count 3 was marijuana. And that was all possession with intent to distribute, and I was 10 on that one.
Yeah. And that's a feel good for hard work. It really is. I don't care how you put it. Your hard work paid off to get that guy off the street. And again, it leads to this next investigation, which we're going to get into the details of that on another episode. But for this one, this guy gets convicted. He does, he's gone. He's off our streets. We arrest this other group with the 150 doses, and Mr. Tyrone is now, he's in jail. He's not getting out of jail.
So he got 100. He got 110. All right. So during his trial, while we were waiting that, we buy fentanyl from him, which ultimately
which one?
Devonte Skinner.
Devonte Skinner.
So we buy again from him, and that's under the federal investigation.
Right.
So he does not know that whenever he got convicted of that, it wasn't until he was sitting in jail till he realized.
Yeah.
He had more problems.
Yes. He had bigger problems.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of the things that I want to point out, and I commend you guys for what y'all do every day, and your team, and our partners that work together. Because I had Major Bourgeois. I asked him, I said, I want to pull some numbers of overdoses, and we see it. And there's so many. There's not a person listening that doesn't have someone, a friend or a family member, that has not had, that's dealt with this overdose. I've had a cousin that actually died of fentanyl overdose, and it's horrible. It's out there, but these stats, and we're going to go back to 2022, kind of when it was kind of rampant. It started kind of picking up the pace, and we had 123 overdoses directly connected to fentanyl. And that was about the year that we beefed up narcotics a little bit. And moving on to 2023, we kind of had a drop to 86 overdoses, and 23, and then in 24, we was at 58. We get a main drug dealer off the street. We get another drug dealer off the street, which we know is like our major guys here. 2025, today, we have 2 overdoses. 2. 2 is too many. But right. We have made such stride, and it's just for the work that y'all do and being patient and working these cases, and just wanted to make sure we point that out, that you guys are out there, boots on the ground, doing such a great job. And we are going to continue to do this to fight the battle against fentanyl, and now that we have the borders closing up, hoping that we see a little bit of difference with that. But I know that a lot of people ask me that question. Sheriff, is the border really a problem here? Do y'all really see, issues with the drugs coming into Livingston Parish? What do y'all say?
They definitely make it here. Yes, sir.
I think
the packaging.
I think you're not going to keep it from coming here.
Or you're not. Absolutely.
The problem is the price. So now the border shut down, so the price goes up. When the price goes up, deaths go up. And it's just a re-evolving circle.
Yeah. You had said that last time, something I never even thought of, that, now that the borders are closing down, the price of illegal narcotics is going to go up, which could cause your crime rate to go up.
That's correct.
So look, I appreciate you guys being here today. I appreciate what you do every day. Y'all do just a fantastic job. And I can't wait to get in some more of these episodes, and we'll kind of continue what we're doing here. And again, man, thank you guys. Thank you for taking your time out. I know y'all probably would rather be out there chasing bad guys and getting some more of these drug dealers off the street. And but again, thank you. I greatly appreciate what you do. And look, that'll do it for Behind the Scenes with Sheriff Jason Ard. We'll appreciate all of you listening. Download our app. Follow us on social media. And again, thank you to Lieutenant Erdey and Sergeant Cody Jarreau, the famous Cody Jarreau, right? And Lieutenant, thank you. In Livingston Parish, we love our schools, we love our churches, and we absolutely believe in the Second Amendment. God bless, and I hope you have a wonderful week.